Very much for joining us tonight. Can you just tell us your name, title, and the organization that you're with?
Yep, I'm Geraci. I'm the Deputy Executive Director at the Active Transportation Alliance.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about you, about what you discussed today, and some of the key takeaways that you think should resonate with the class and with others listening to this video?
Sure. So we discussed today my organization's kind of take on the landscape that we're looking at in terms of people being able to get to where they need to go without the use of an automobile. Our view of the world is that we're overly dependent on personal automobiles, and that's unjust, unfair, bad for the environment, bad for our health, bad for our pocketbooks, and that there should be a different way.
Right. So you talked about active transportation, how we're moving away from these transit-oriented transportation models that we're currently using. How do you see these changing in the ways we get around? What do you think in the next, say, 10 and 20 years? What would you like to see? What do you actually see happening?
Well, I think the pressures of climate change, the pressures on household income, the demand for greater societal equity, and quite frankly, the generational pressures of baby boomers wanting to retire in place, older adults, our population getting older, aging population, as well as younger people wanting to be more debt-free and not having to own as many things and have as many loans to pay off. All of those pressures are coming to a head. Our organization has seen just a huge uptick, I'd say, in the last 5 to 10 years of popularity, demand for our services, demand for our expertise, level of interest in what we do, from all kinds of different sectors, right? So public health is big into transportation choice now. Social justice organizations are coming to the front of the pack. Obviously environmental organizations. So it's an intersectional issue in ways that people hadn't really seen before. I think we were kind of siloed off just the bike people, those crazy bike people who want everybody to put on Lycra and grab some cleats and do that. And that's not the way it's being seen anymore. It's really, it's really enmeshed with a whole bunch of different concerns. So it's a quality of life issue.
Right. So you talked a lot about these different outcomes that can be achieved with new transportation models. There's demand for your services, and people are starting to think about this. But with that, there's a lot of different outcomes that can be achieved. What do we need to be thinking about? What do we need to be doing now to move us towards those best possible outcomes so we don't end up having an outcome that's not so great?
It's a good question. So one of the drawbacks of trying to advocate for change in this particular realm is that transportation systems take a long time to build, and once they're in place, they're hard to change. So you build a road, it's kind of there. You don't build a rail line, it's not there, and something else takes its place. So we need money, we need patience, we need political fortitude and leadership. We need to educate the next generation of transportation professionals in the right ways. And we need to not wait around for the big changes to happen and start making the smaller incremental changes that can kind of, to use a pun, unintentionally pave the way for the bigger changes that can be done later. There is no more time left. That younger people have been telling us for decades, you need to move on the climate. We're all going to pay a huge price if we don't do something. We feel that same sense of urgency with transportation and people being able to stay connected to their jobs, their education, the ability to shop, green space, access to all of those critical things that make a life worth living, quite honestly. It's jammed up right now, and we need to move on it quick.
Great answer. Active Transportation Alliance works with multiple stakeholders. As we think about moving towards these best outcomes, if you will, what stakeholders need to be working together, and how do we get them to work together? How do we get them in the room together, talking and running pilot projects together, running projects together that really help us understand how to break down these silos and move these outcomes forward?
Right. Well, from kind of an influencer perspective, you know, organizations and agencies that need to get together. The big tent model is the way to go. So we've been having a lot of success recently in convening affordable housing advocates, people who advocate for fresh fruits and vegetables in communities, people who have a concern for the homeless population. You know, we're bringing all these different interests together, saying that you need to get what you need out of your mission, you know, your objectives. You need a good transportation network. To get what we need people to be able to just stay in their communities. You know, so we're all seeing these common threads a lot more, and it's sort of a version of the Women's March, you know, where a group of somewhat like-minded people, but all with different priorities, decided to all show up and advocate for each other's thing. I will show up for a housing march if you show up to protest, you know, the creation of the new highway. So that is happening. That's happening with a lot of enthusiasm and interest. The challenge before us is to communicate that down to the grassroots level, so that people understand that all this stuff is connected, and we need to fight for a better quality of life on all these fronts at the same time.
So you work with a lot of different communities all throughout the Chicagoland area. UIC is a community within a large city. How do we apply some of your work right here on UIC's campus? What are the things that we could be doing to activate the campus?
Well, what's really cool about universities or campus-based entities is that you're a microcosm, right? You can try out all of these strategies on a manageable scale, as opposed to a giant city or a county or something. And the second good thing about it is that you are a destination. So you have people who need to travel here from a variety of different places, but there's a central component. There's a purpose. They all have the same purpose, which is to get physically to this space in place and time, you know, for specific purposes. So you have people with one goal, right? And you as the destination, you know, your goal is easy to make it more efficient, more safe, more convenient, as affordable as possible, and as comfortable as possible for people that you're servicing to do that. So in terms of your objectives, it's not so multidimensional that it's overwhelming. And the third good thing I would say is there are so many great case examples that you can follow. There are universities out there, Stanford comes to mind, any of the UC, you know, West Coast I know, but a lot of more urban-based college campuses have this down. They've been doing it, they know it, you can just copy and paste. And there are also examples of medical centers for your West Campus. The Seattle Children's Hospital is the best example that I know of that has really done some miraculous things. They have 40% of all of their staff either carpool or take public transportation to work. 40%, that's nuts, right?
That is nuts. So one last question, and this is a fun one. What's your favorite mode of transportation?
Bus or train. I love it. I can put on my headphones, I can read my book, I can prepare for the next presentation I'm going to give. You get so much done. It's great. I could just chill, put on my meditation app and sit there, watch the greenery go by. I love it. I love it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for joining us tonight,
Yeah.
and we hope to see you again next year.
Absolutely.